we are dealing with now a situation of 23 lakh students. One thing is very clear, that the leak has taken place.
Yes, in one center.
No, whether one center, that's what we have to decide.
We will have to.
Second, what was the modality? One more very important aspect.
Yes,
What was the modality in which the leak was detected? If the leak took place, if the modality of the leak is through electronic means, social media, then there is a possibility that the leak is extremely wide.
Well, that is the
Requires
point.
some assistance from both sides. Please don't treat it as an adversarial litigation. For the reason that whatever view we ultimately take, this view is impacting the lives of 23 lakh students. It's an admitted fact that there is a leak. There is no question about it. But the nature of the leak is what we are determining. I'm asking 23 lakh students to reappear for an examination, together with the preparation, cost, travel, and dislocation of admission schedules.
Unfortunately, there is not a choice.
Unfortunately,
there is not a choice. Paper has been leaked.
What are the actions which the government of India and NTA have taken to identify the wrongdoing students or the beneficiaries of the wrongdoing?
Correct.
Look, if we have no go, we'll have to cancel the exams.
But it has been as a matter of fact that it was being the sold question paper was received by this gang on mobile phone on the morning of 5th of May.
Where do we get that?
Yes, it is there. Let me come back to at page 290. This second paragraph at page 292. Allow me to read that. It says it was received on mobile phone by this gang.
When were they received?
They say 5th of May 2024 in the morning, and the students were made in groups to memorize the answers to these questions. This is what the finding is. As a matter of fact, we have a video which was shown to me. It's a Telegram channel where it has been recorded, which is on 4th of May. The question paper and answers were being circulated on a Telegram channel. This has been captured, the date and the Telegram channel we have. And the questions have been matched with the same question.
When were the question papers lodged in the locker?
That they will be able to tell you.
When were the question papers sent to the locker?
Uh, 5-6 days prior to the actual
Specific date. And second, when were they pulled out of the locker? Two lockers, right? State Bank of India and Canada
Bank slips.
Now, when were they pulled out of the locker?
On the date of the exam, that is on 5th minutes. It's not only the date which is relevant, the time is relevant. The reference.
What time was the examination held?
5th minutes.
What time was it held?
2 in the afternoon. 2 o'clock to 5:20. 3 hours 20 minutes.
Yes.
Now, what time were they pulled out of the locker on the 5th?
Around minutes 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Now, at how many centers in India was the exam conducted?
In India, 4,750 minutes.
4,750 centers. How many? Right. How many cities?
550.
Now, please give us specific.
571 and 15 centers were abroad minutes.
571 cities.
Yes, please.
And how many centers abroad?
14 minutes. 14 cities. 14 cities. Centers.
Now tell us, how many students appeared totally?
24 lakhs around minutes. Around 24 minutes.
You have the precise figure.
23 lakhs, 73 lakhs. I'll give you lordships in the
23 lakhs.
33,297.
Here against registration of 24 lakhs and plus. 72,000 students, my lords, did not take the exam, despite registration.
Now, how were the papers distributed abroad?
They were sent minutes. And
when were they sent abroad?
Through the embassies.
And how were they sent to the embassies?
You'll get the details from it.
Were they sent by the diplomatic bag? Were they sent by courier?
I'll find out.
And
there's some record.
And second, if Now they were the exam was held in as many as 4,750 centers
Yes, please.
in 571 cities,
Yes, please.
right?
Yes, please.
Now, when you say that the two booklets,
Yes.
we'll call them
Yes.
A and B, set A and set B,
Yes, please.
they were sent to these cities. When were they sent to these cities?
Yes, please.
When were they sent to these cities?
Approximately about 5.
We don't want
I'll-
to
I'll-
approximate. Tell us the precise dates.
I'll get to the exact dates.
When were they and how were they sent to those cities?
Yes, please. I'll get the dates. Bihar Police.
And were they lodged in the State Bank and Canara Bank in each of these cities, or what happened?
Each of the cities minutes they are lodged with the custodians who are minutes Canara Bank and State Bank.
So we want to know on what date were the question papers sent? Where were they? When were they? When the question papers were prepared,
Yes, minutes.
right? Question papers are prepared by one person or more than one person.
Group of experts. Question papers are prepared at the headquarters
Where are the headquarters? Delhi.
in Delhi.
So two sets are prepared by two different groups or one group?
It's, by the same group. First, one.
One second.
The same group of experts in it prepares two different sets of question papers.
At the headquarters.
Yes, please.
After they are prepared, they're given to the NTA.
Yes, please.
When did NTA send them to the State Bank of India and Canara Bank into different cities?
In between, printing is there. Let's
Right.
printing presses.
So
When are they sent to the printing press?
which is a printing press?
Yes, let's. We will get the details.
We want to know which is the printing press.
Yes, please.
When did you send these question papers to the printing press?
Yes, please.
What were the transportation arrangements made for sending them to the printing press?
Yes, please.
When did the printing press, after the printing press prints them? We are now talking of 24 lakhs,
Yes.
50 lakh sets.
Yes.
Right? Because 24 lakh had, how many sets were printed?
Correct.
And after they were printed, where were they sent? Are they sent back to the headquarters at Delhi?
Yes, please.
Huh?
The remaining sheets.
No.
Unutilized ones.
No. After the question paper is set, it is sent for printing.
Yes.
You have a printing press A.
Yes.
You need not tell us where the printing press is. Otherwise, next year they will go to that
Correct.
printing press.
Yes, please, sir.
Now, it is sent to that printing press,
Yes, please.
right? How is it sent to the printing press? Under what custody?
Yes.
Second, after they are printed, how does the printing press send it back to NTA? Between that date and give us that date, how many days had elapsed between that and the distribution of the question papers to these 471 cities and 4,750
The
centers?
entire movement minutes I'll prepare a track.
Right?
Starting from the preparation of the question paper.
See, I'll tell you why we are asking.
I follow.
If we come to the conclusion that the time lag between the leak and the actual date of the examination is relatively limited,
Yes.
then that would be a circumstance which would militate against holding a retest.
Not
If the time lag between the leak and the actual examination, Brother Mishram actually mentioned,
is wide. Then
is wider, then there's a greater chance that the malaise is across the system.
correct. I get it minutes. I'll get the time.
If it appears that the question papers were leaked on the morning of the 5th, exam was scheduled at 2 o'clock, students were made to memorize the questions, that may be one indicator that the leak was not as widespread.
Not.
Somebody who has a question paper is not going to ask students to sit down and memorize them and give on the spot memorize them. How many answers can a student memorize?
There are two aspects to it.
Therefore, we have to have some
Yes,
clarity on facts for us to understand whether this is so systemic that we must order a retest.
Not.
See, there are two or three considerations which way. One, if the sanctity of the examination has been lost, then a retest has to be ordered, right?
Yeah.
If we are not able to identify candidates who are guilty of wrongdoing, a retest has to be ordered. If you can't distinguish the grain from the chaff, that is the tainted from the untainted, a retest has to be ordered.
Your Lordship judgment.
On the other hand, we are dealing with now a situation of 23 lakh students. It may be far-fetched for us to at least presume, unless they point out material to us, that all 23 lakh students or a substantial number of them are involved in the fraud. For what we know, a large number of students may be just honest students who have appeared for the exam.
Large number. Large number.
Therefore, we have to see if, what was the modality? One more very important aspect.
Yes, sir.
What was the modality in which the leak was detected? If the leak took place, if the modality of the leak is through electronic means, social media, then there is a possibility that the leak is extremely wide.
Well, What your lordship said is all correct.
Just one second.
They
Therefore,
pass
there is
the
a
electronic
flag-
media.
one second.
Yes.
Michael, one second. We are flagging these issues. We want you to therefore give us a comprehensive analysis of dates.
Certainly.
Because if the leak is taking place through, say, Telegram, if it is taken through WhatsApp,
That happened.
you know,
This is
because
the case.
if it's through social media or any electronic means of communication, then it spreads like wildfire.
Yes.
On the other hand, we must also balance it out about the time at which the leak takes place. If it's more or less in the morning of the 5th, then the time between when the leak takes place and the students have to go for the examination is very limited.
On the time.
This is a hard decision, but there is no choice.
One more thing in which we require some assistance from both sides. Please don't treat it as an adversarial litigation. For the reason that, one second, for the reason that whatever view we ultimately take, this view is impacting the lives of 23 lakh students. Second, right. Second, we want to understand, is it possible for the court to identify red flags? Right? So, can we identify, either we do it or we appoint an expert committee to identify the red flags? I'll give you some examples of red flags. 720 out of 720. All right, everybody out of who gets 720 is not a fraudster. There may be still people who are extraordinarily bright, that 720 out of 720. But we found that for the previous years, the proportion was very low. Now, this year suddenly it goes up to 67. How many out of those 720 are people from that 1563 who are beneficiaries of the added grace mark?
I'm obliged to your lordship's question. It's a very pertinent question. We examine the pattern of 100 top ranking students, those who were in the first 100. But the analysis comes that they were distributed amongst 95 centers in 56 cities in 18 states or union territories.
The
Top 100.
The top 100.
They are not found, they appeared in 95 centers located in 56 cities, which are spread out in 18 states or union territories.
And my lord,
Page 37 is the
Now,
element, and
one more thing which we want to know now is that how many FIRs matters been handed over to CBI for investigation?
I'll just tell you.
Totally, how many FIRs have been registered?
One FIR was paper leak in Patna. Rest, my lord, are FIRs for some local malpractice, my lord.
How many totally FIRs have been registered?
My lord, according to them, 6, my lord. Our knowledge is not 6, my lord.
Can you give us tomorrow, maybe?
My lord, day after, my lord, day more, my lord. But we'll be able to.
I have enough.
Just one second. All right.
I may tell you.
Second, now, one thing is very clear, that the leak has taken place.
In yes, in one center.
No, whether one center that's what we have to decide. The fact that the sanctity of the examination is now compromised is beyond doubt.
Correct.
That there has been a leak.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Now, question is, Mr. Solicitor, how widespread is that breach?
Patna also, my lord, the paper leak is not an admitted fact. Lord, my learned friend relied upon that press, not kind of a thing.
No, it is an admitted fact. This is later in the affidavit.
Edumbre, one second.
Yes.
But can we deny the fact that a leak of question papers?
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. My lord,
The complete cover-up, it is admitted in the FIR.
Bihar police, on that very day on which, my lord, some news reporting came, which my learned friend, my lord, Mr. Huda read. My lord, we issued this press that this is false. This is not our briefing to the media.
No, but it's the case of NTA today that there is no leak.
It's not style.
Leak is admitted.
The fact
It is
that-
admitted in their counter affidavit.
Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Kaushik, it's an admitted fact that there is a leak.
Yes.
There is no question about it. But, the nature of the leak is what we are determining. Therefore, we are asking questions. The fact that there was a leakage of question papers cannot be disputed. Now, what is the consequence of that leak would depend upon the extensive nature of that leak. If it
Was it a sustained leak or uncontained?
I'll tell you one thing. You don't cancel a whole examination merely because two students have committed a malpractice likewise. assuming that there is a leak, we don't live in an ideal world. There should be no leak. But before we decide to order a leak, a retest, we must be careful about what is the nature of that leak, because we are conscious of the fact that we are dealing with the careers of 23 lakhs.
Is absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Right? And asking 23 lakh students to reappear for an examination, together with the preparation, cost, travel, and dislocation of admission schedules,
Unfortunately, there is no other choice.
I'll also take.
Unfortunately, there is no other choice. Paper has been leaked.
Mr. Nandumpara, please.
now, therefore, we want to know this. Therefore, we would like to know first the entire process which took place.
Said.
To what is the nature of the FIRs which have come forth? How was the leak? What is the point of time at which the leak took place? How was the leak disseminated? These are important questions. And next, very important, what are the actions which the government of India and NTA have taken to identify the wrongdoing students or the beneficiaries of the wrongdoing?
Correct. Now, I give an example.
I appear for someone who has come first.
What I'd like to make is, I'd like to make submission.
Understood your lordship's question. They are very pertinent question, and that would ultimately lead. But I'll just give an example.
Your lordship, sir, something perhaps.
One second, Mr. Solicitor, we also want to know what are the steps which have been taken by the NTA and by the government to identify the beneficiaries of the leaks, because that we have to be ruthless on identifying the beneficiaries.
We also have to be ruthless.
Right? Because anybody who has breached the examination is not entitled to be there as a successful student.
Those who are identified, their results are. But give me an example.
How many? We want to know
I'll give.
how many have been identified.
Yes.
But more than how many have been identified, we want to know what was the course of action which was taken by the government.
Kindly allow me to give an example. For the time being, leave Bihar. I'll not call the police also. I'll not take instructions. Take, for example, Godhra. Godhra incident, it passes on as a paper leak case. It's not a paper leak case. What happened was, there was one superintendent of one particular center called Jalaram School. His name is Tushar Bhatt. He arranged with certain students that he didn't have the paper. But he said that whatever answers you can confidently answer, you give the answers. These are multiple choice questions with negative marking. And therefore, I would have a window of 3 hours before, after I take your papers back, and I seal it and send it to the concerned authority. Fortunately, the authorities, the district magistrate came to know about this. It must have percolated from somewhere. Therefore, the moment examination started, the entire district administration and entire police administration was there. The papers after the examination were taken in their custody, sealed in their presence and sent, and that man was arrested. Now, from his mobile, there were several video chats which were found. And we could identify that these were the people with whom he was in touch. So those identified students, their papers are, their results are with him. And they are issued show cause notices. Why should they not be?
So we want to know totally.
We are not concerned about Godhra, but we are concerned about Patna. Patna is the leakage. Godhra, we are not complaining. I am only about paper leakage, Patna. Nothing else. All others are minor issues. Impersonation, all are minor issues. Nobody would ask for a cancel of the examination on the basis of that.
Overall in the entire country,
Right.
how many students whose results have been withheld, owing to what we are discussing today? Individual, one student cheating from another student, we are not bothered about that.
Absolutely.
And the law will take its own course.
Yes.
How many students are there whose results have been withheld as a result of the systemic, so we won't say systemic, as a result of the leakage which took place.
Patna leakage.
So, and where are those students situated? You want to see the geographical distribution of those students. Are they in one state? Are they in multiple states? Where are they situated? One second. Just tell us for this examination now. Are we still in the process of identifying the wrongdoers in terms of the students? We're not talking of those who are perpetrators, but beneficiaries. Have we been able to completely identify the students who are the beneficiaries, or is that process still ongoing?
Answer is no.
For instance, one second. Look, if we have no go, we'll have to cancel the exam.
No
But
effort
I'll tell you one
whatsoever
thing.
on that side.
As a court,
Yes.
this cancellation of a test of this nature, 24 lakh students,
Completely agree with.
is a matter of extreme last week. So,
That's all.
because it may be, this
Lordship is
may be very-
absolutely right.
it may
Absolutely
be,
right. Yeah,
and therefore we are asking questions about what is the time at which the leakage took place. So that will give us an idea of what was the opportunity for dissemination.
Very
What the modality is.
Very pertinent.
My petition, my lord, there are 56. Quick answer, if your lordship.
Just one second. Mr. Solicitor, 1 second.
I have
Sir. 1 second. Just 1
Yes,
second.
everything by day after.
After 1 second, one more thing I wanted to ask you is that with the kind of technology which we have today at our disposal, and the government of India has its cyber forensic unit, is it not possible for us to run through the use of experts to bring some sense of confidence to the process?
That-
That you carry out a detailed data analytics exercise to see if there are suspicious markers. Now we have to identify what the suspicious markers are. All right. So I just want to say one thing. Let us not be in self-denial,
Absolutely.
right? Because
agree.
self-denial is only adding to the problem because now everybody knows there was a leak. So let's not. We have 2 or 3 things. We have to see what happened for this exam, what we do in the ongoing process for the conclusion of this year's admission, and finally, which is the third aspect of the matter, which we'll answer. What do we ensure? What do we do to ensure that the leak does not take place again in the future? Or what are the steps we are taking
Correct.
to ensure that the dissemination in the future does not result in the leaks that we have encountered? On the last aspect, subject to hearing you, there should be a sort of a multidisciplinary committee consisting of the best experts, not necessarily only from the government, but people who have very wide experience and who are respected across the country. Because we are, today we are dealing, I don't have to emphasize it, we are dealing with the most prestigious of educational admissions.
And
Every middle class
young
parent,
minds, my lord, which are the treasure of.
middle class parents aspire their children to go to medicine or engineering, or now, what are we doing to ensure that
Future.
that this will not happen in future, and how are we planning to tighten the examinations process?
Correct.
Is there an audit being conducted by the government on what went wrong in the NTA? That's one aspect. What do we do? There's a third aspect. Second aspect, assuming that we are not going to cancel the entire exam, what do we do between today and the date of admissions to identify those who are beneficiaries of the fraud? And the first aspect, do we cancel the exam or do we allow the counseling to go through by identifying the beneficiaries? And on the first aspect, we'd like to know from the government, what have you done so far to identify those who are beneficiaries of the
I